Hi guys, Maikeru here. Today's video is a little bit of a different one, and it's saying linking into what I done on stream recently, and that was trying to break some bots. There is a really big problem with gold farmers and bots in Runescape 3 currently, and it's kind of getting out of hand. The main reason for this is that you can do a very low effort bot or gold farming account that can make you just as much money as the equivalent on old school for the same amount of effort. Because most bots on old school can only really make 1 to 2 mil GP an hour or something, you can easily do the same thing on RS3, usually with less effort. If you're a gold farmer that does frost dragons or something, that's the equivalent of 2 mil old school. Or if you're doing something like corrupted scorpions, that's fully AFK and the equivalent of 1 mil on old school. And because they can make that easily on RS3 now, they're coming over here and grinding. Same applies with these elite dungeon 3 bots or gold farmers right here. They always have the same type of gear and the same stats. Literally like 100 and odd magic and some defensive stats. Then they wear Batwing or Mystic and they use like a Polypore staff or a Staff of Light. And they always go in their group of 3, go into their instance and kill it. There is so many of these, but you just don't see them unless they're running back and forth because they're in an instance. I tried a couple of things to interact with them and maybe bug them out. I put loads of divine locations around and they didn't click them because the boat is in the sea. Then you can just click the minimap to move and then click the boat to enter, you know. I tried to put a portable Fletcher on top of the man, but obviously they used a boat to enter, not the man, so I couldn't do anything about that either. So sadly, I couldn't really do anything to try and like bust these, but there is ways to bust other bots, which I'll get into now. Corrupted Scorpions is a location where there is a ton of alt accounts, gold farmers, and bots. There's a mix between all of them. Although it's very easy to find out which ones are bots, and there's different types of bots as well. For example, this one is one of the bots. It doesn't respond, it has no interaction. This man apparently was completely oblivious, and what I done is I attacked one of the scorpions without a feather so it didn't die, and lured the man across the dungeon. It doesn't have invention, so it's not using, you know, the AFK auto sanctifiers, so it's not renewing its aggro pots, it's doing that manually. Even if you're running multiple accounts, when you go to renew your aggro pot, you're going to be so far away and such that you're going to notice something is up. I left him in this position for 10 minutes, which means he would have renewed his aggro pot and everything himself. Yet, he didn't respond, he didn't move, he just stayed there, attacking this scorpion that won't die. So because of this, I drew the conclusion that this guy was not an alt, he was a bot. I then lured over the lizard, which does range damage. He's protecting melee and using a Saradomin Godsword to heal, right? That's what all of these alts and bots do. Once I got that lizard to attack him, because there was only one scorpion on him, he wasn't healing enough and he was taking a ton of damage, which then led to his death. So I was able to bust this bot and kill him. And, you know, again, if you're a normal account and you're an alt, you're going to go back to your gravestone or, you know, reclaim your items from death pretty quickly. You're going to notice something is up. This guy's gravestone was on the floor for the whole duration of the gravestone before it disappeared. It literally expired because it was AFK for that long. I think the default grave that he had was like 10 minutes. So you can clearly see that this is a bot and it has nearly 120 defense and 25 mil attack and strength. I believe these are 400 to 500k experience an hour in melee if you're using a Saradomin Godsword, which means he AFK'd here for so long with a bot. And he hasn't been detected. That's pretty bad. Although this is like the most basic bot, there are more advanced ones that you can't even kill or I can't find a way to kill. I'll show you them now. If you lure a scorpion away from it, all it does is run back to its default position every single time. It always runs back to the exactly same spot. Every single time without foul, it runs back to that spot. So what we tried to do to bug it out was put down a box trap so it'd interact with the box trap and maybe it'd mess up his auto retaliate or something like that. It just didn't mess it up enough, but it would always click the box trap, which is hilarious to me. And it clearly shows this is not someone playing the game. This is a bot. Always the same spot. Even when there's a box trap there, it clicks it. And then there's another bot or gold farmer that literally just hops worlds. It has multiple accounts. It's normally the ones in Bandos, not Elder Rune. The ones in Bandos with a Saradomin Godsword, they hop. Sometimes they don't speak and they just run and they hop round the corner. Other times they even reply. So I don't know whether it's an automated reply from a bot or the gold farmer themselves replying. But again, you tell them not to hop and they still hop. So that's what leads me to think that it's more of a bot than a gold farmer when you're literally saying don't hop and you're not even touching their scorpions. They'll just instantly hop and you haven't even crashed them. I done nothing to crash this man and he hopped, you know? I literally didn't even touch anything and they ran away. So it's very, very weird and suspicious on this one as well. But again, you cannot kill these because if you do try and lure them away, they go run and they hop. So some bots you can kill, others, they're just like, I guess, putting these things in place so they can't be trolled. It is very interesting. And that was my experience with Corrupted Creatures. Although I will say this right here, there is a lot of ults here. I spoke to plenty of people. I was talking to them. They'd respond to me. And, you know, there's a lot of ults with similar stats and stuff that are literally just people's alt accounts that they farm gold for their main for. Or they could be gold farmers. Who knows? But they're actually speaking and they're actually playing the game. So obviously I didn't troll any of these. I just left them be and then went on my way and kept hopping. So I'm not doing this to try and like troll people. I'm not doing this to try and like ruin people's game experience. The only people that I did try and lure were ones that I knew were bots. I'm not going to try and lure alt accounts or people actually playing the game, right? And if I ever saw anyone who had like decent gear, not a Saradomin Godsword, it would be an insta hop from me because the bots always run those. So before someone reads in the comments down below that, you know, I'm trolling innocent players, I always made sure there were bots first, don't worry. Another super populated place for both gold farmers and bots was Frost Dragons. I went there and spoke to some people. Some would reply, whether it be a gold farmer replying, playing on multiple accounts, or a bot with some automated replies. The people who spoke back, I typically left alone because even if they're gold farmers or saying, I don't really want to ruin their experience. I'm only really looking for bots, right? And there was bots at Frost Dragons. You'd speak to them, they wouldn't reply whatsoever, but they'll be casting special attacks on their Saradomin Godsword. You cannot revolution a special attack, which means they were actively there. I'm a PMod in-game. Even if they have their chat hidden, it shows my messages. They would have to have their chat completely closed not to see my messages. Plus, when you're actively playing and killing them and you see someone following you around, you're probably going to be like, oh, who's this or whatever, right? You're just going to want to see what's up. So for the ones that seemed like they were bots instead of gold farmers, I tried to troll them a little bit. So what I done is I tagged some of the dragons around the place so they would be more likely to have the orb up by the time the person attacks them. The orb attack happens like 10 seconds after aggroing it, so if they go and attack one that's already been aggroed by me 5 seconds ago, it'll probably do an orb before they can kill it. So then they start killing themselves on the orbs. I think the bot's programmed to move to a different dragon if it starts taking damage from orbs. As you can see here, it swaps, but then other dragons might have orbs as well because they're all been aggroed for a while. And these bots are super interesting because if they die, they're literally a suicide bot. When you die in this dungeon, your gravestone gets put outside. I waited outside for nearly the duration of their gravestone, and 30 seconds before the gravestone was going to expire, the bot came, it collected all of its loot from its gravestone, went back into the instance, and went back to killing the dragons. This bot is a very interesting one. They literally just are programmed to go ham, and if they do die, to whatever reason, they then just run in. So there's these bots, but there's also bots that don't suicide because they use a Talon Beast in order to kill the Frost Dragons. These ones are a lot smarter. One, they won't kill themselves because the Talon Beast helps them kill the Frost Dragon quick enough that it'll never do an orb. And secondly, if they detect all of the dragons being aggroed, they just hop worlds. So these ones are the smarter bots, and the suicide bots, I would guess, are the more simple bots. Very interesting findings at Frost Dragons, to say the least. Although one thing I will say is some of the gold farmers that respond to you literally have 200 mil in every single combat stat. And Frost Dragons give just over 1,000 XP in combat. This means in order to get 200 mil in attack, strength, and defense, you would need to kill 552,000 Frost Dragons. 552,000 That is so many frost dragons that this dude has killed on either a gold farmer that is probably well traded on or a bot. That is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And the fact that, you know, pretty much all gold farmers real well trade because it's typically someone who's doing it for money in real life. I understand that's how they put food on their table and stuff. But it's still real world trading, it's still against the rules, and if they've real world traded, you know, 552,000 Frost Dragon Bones, that is absolutely absurd and a crazy number. And that's the minimum, right? Because how long have they had their 200 mil stats? Who knows, dude? That is crazy. I went to a couple of different places, but I couldn't really find ways to, like, bug out the bots. If you guys have any ideas or any places you want me to visit, I can do this again in the future with other bots. I went to Wines of Zamorak, and I couldn't really do anything with that bot. I went to the Dwarven Mines in free-to-play. For some reason here, people spam make rune arrowheads. But there's literally nothing I can do to these bots to stop them making rune arrowheads, right? So they're all here with like 80-odd, 90 smithing, and they're all making arrowheads. Kind of an interesting one. Don't know whether they're alts or bots. Same applies with these ones. The mining bots or alts. They just mine luminite over and over and over again. Then they run to that Dwarven mine furnace to deposit all the luminite and run back. Definitely not efficient, but I mean, it's free to play, so it's an easy bot to do, I guess. There is tons more bots out there, but I can't really think of too many more that I can troll. I've trolled the cursed energy bots in the past. Maybe we could do that again at some point. But yeah, if you do have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this different style of video. Give the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new for loads of future content all related to RuneScape 3. And until next time, see ya.